Hi again, and it's me. Same day, February 21st, 2025. It's 1 o'clock, 1:10 roughly. And it is number, let me see if I can get it where it doesn't, well, we'll just do it this way. There we go. It's number 719. And I'm going to put something up. It's part 4, Mystery of Iniquity. And we're going to be on this a while because it's complicated, many facets, many parts, like that wheel behind me has spokes. The mystery of iniquity is complicated. It's ancient. So there's a lot of examples throughout history where we've been lied to, fooled, humanity that is, and then quite a few for us Americans right now in this generation. Excuse me, I'm hiccuping a little bit. I have something here. Oh, thinking cap, Tom Terrific, putting on his thinking cap. I don't care about what I look like that much, but a little bit, because I'm not above as bad as I look, and feel actually. Uh, as bad as I look, I'm not above being a little um, prideful. Is that it? Vain. That's the word. Yes, I'm a little vain. He's so vain. I try not to be, but aren't we all? No, we don't want to go out looking bad. I mean, we comb our hair, I shave. I don't know if I have enough hair to comb. The shame of it is I started losing my hair at 19. And, at that age, I was so hung up on my appearance. And I think everyone was in our era, well, in our generation of young people are. We're still growing intellectually and maturing in every way, and looks are paramount. Okay, I've got something to show you here. It's going to be backwards. I probably showed you in another one, but I want to show you again. It ties into the mystery of iniquity, the complication of it. But this one, I'm going to put it up right now. Okay, since I have fans blowing, it will be moving around, and I don't want it to. So, and I can't pause. Let me get a piece of cardboard, which I don't have handy, so I'll put it on my book. By the way, this backwards is my book. Who is God and what does he want from me? Question mark. By down here, Ken Marchlinsky. And this is an antique watch that was made by Seth Thomas, pocket watch, and a holder. I bought the holder. Gee, the holder was $50 itself. The watch was like $350 30 years ago, and it's from I think 1876, when Seth Thomas makes those clocks you see so often. There's antique clocks on the wall. They just got into pocket watches. I don't know how important this is, or now how much it would be worth, but I looked up the serial number, and it's the Seth Thomas. It was made within the first 6 months that Seth Thomas started making pocket watches. However, it never did run, and I'm trying to find it so I can take it to a jeweler and get it working. This is the back of my book. Now you can't read it because it's backwards. And what I will do is I'll read a few things. Okay, answers for hard questions. It says, what really is Christianity? Can a Christian still go to hell? Is the Bible the final source of authenticity? Where Catholics and Protestants differ, and we do differ there. Well, I believe in God. Islam, what Christians need to know. Well, I read the Quran carefully. Is God good? Why do bad things happen to good people? There's more, but that's the kind of, I try to tackle hard lessons, okay, and hard sayings that aren't often answered. And this is me around 2007. kissing my grandson, Ronnie. And just to let you know, here's a good grandfather. I have no problem kissing that little guy. I'll kiss him today if you ever would allow me to see him before I die. But again, I'm ostracized from my family according to Hebrews 13:13. And but I want a backboard so it doesn't blow around in here. I'll use this so it's a bit heavy. Let's see, can I? Okay, I'll do it this way. This is, you can't read it. You get on Google and you look up Deagle.com. Deagle.com, I'm sorry. Deagle is spelled DEAGEL.com. And they're part of the governmental system. They're, let's say, CIA, FBI. But this has been out for years. I have it in my system so I can print it out any time, but I first learned of this almost 10 years ago. Now, you see the red circle on top? Well, Deagle is making a forecast. The red circle on top that you can't read because it's backwards says that in 2017, that's the date, that the population of America was 327 million people. That was 2017. Now below, where my finger is moving, is another red circle, actually two, and the date is 2025. That's this year. Okay, we're already almost 2 full months in 2025, and that's what this says here. Well, what kind of, they're forecasting, it's called a forecast by their own printing. They're forecasting that the population in America will no longer be 327 million, but 100 million. So somewhere between 2017 and 2025, by 2025, sometime this year, they're saying that the population of America will be missing 227 million people. Well, how are they going to be missing? Well, they've got to be dead. Dead, dead, dead. See, but they don't tell us why. And that's the mystery. See, it's the confusion. It's a loose end. Now I have something else to show you. And this is a collage. I might have done this in a preceding video, but it's definitely worth showing because you may see one video and never see the other. So I want to redo this again for you. This is a collage of pictures I got off the internet. I have to point, and this is, oh, come on you. Okay. Right here, remember I told you there's a collusion between the Freemasonry and the Illuminati and Satan? Well, this guy passed a truck. Okay, so across from him, the truck is showing a Freemasonry symbol on the truck. In his rearview mirror, you can see what he's hauling. He's hauling what they call FEMA coffins. Now down here is a closer look at FEMA coffins. These are all FEMA coffins stacked like Dixie cups. You baby boomers know what Dixie cups and how they're stacked. And this is a woman opening one up. Now this is a location of what? 100,000, maybe more, FEMA coffins. Okay? Now down here is something to do with the Pope. I'm not going to get into it right now, but the Pope chose to give a mass in Rome at a cemetery, an ancient cemetery, and he chose to stand in front of this character as an ancient, probably senator, but over the time, the bleeding of moss and wear of hundreds of years, perhaps 1,000 or more years. But why would you stand in front of such an evil-looking thing? You can find it. You have to look for it. And see, he's giving this okay sign. This here, in today's world, means 666. It used to mean, okay, okie dokie. But now, it means 666, and I'll put it up again for you. But it's right there. you can hardly make it out, maybe. Okay, and to emphasize that, um, you put it over your eye like this. And in that way, you're representing the eye of Horus, which is the eyeball on the back of our dollar bill at the top of the pyramid. That's worshiping a pagan god named Horus. And see my fingers? 666. This is the part of the 6 that's the circle, right here, okay? And the 3 stems of 6, 6, 6. See how that works? And so it's no longer okay, boys and girls. You're giving allegiance to Satan. Now you can catch Betty White, who apparently made it on a stamp. Her ugly fat face, and she was a witch. Betty White died at 100 or whatever, and just died. But an evil person deep down. Very representative of half of our population of the world, if not more, of people that have their souls already sold to the devil and may not even be fully human. And education. That was your education. Let me put my glasses back on. I may need them. And I want to proceed on then with Mystery of Iniquity, Part 4. Well, what I just showed you is a mystery. What are the FEMA coffins? Yeah, let's talk about them. Listen, World War II, when the whole world was at war, we were not assured of victory. But America still did not think it necessary to make, this is just before I was born, we had plenty of plastic in service back then. They didn't do this for World War II, make these FEMA coffins. Now, this is not the only site. There's, how many more, I don't know. I'm sure of another one. That's a lot of coffins. Well, why would you need coffins? Well, you need them to put bodies in. Well, you can't let dead bodies lay around because they get the stinking and stuff. And you have to gather them up and bury them, or gather them up and burn them. Okay, but why coffins? I mean, what's going to happen where, along with the Deagle report saying that 2/3 of us are going to be dead this year? This year. Mystery, isn't it? The mystery of iniquity. It's not a game. The government's spending millions on planning our burying a lot of people with those FEMA coffins. Now, they make up an excuse and they want to rename it as FEMA casket liners. It doesn't matter. Bare bodies, dead bodies are going to go in there like sacks of wheat. They're not going to be in a coffin. There's going to be too many deaths. You can tell by the deduction. You can deduce that there's too many coffins, or rather FEMA coffins, that they're expecting so many people to die, you're not going to be making wooden or any other kind of coffins. This is quick. Throw the bodies in this thing. These coffins are the size where see where she's at. Let me put it on this side. Where she's at here, look at the size of that. You could get about 4 or 6 of her in there. And that's just what they'll do. Like sacks of wheat, they'll be throwing the dead bodies in. Let's continue on. Deductive reasoning. Following a train of thought where observation is only what you can go with. And little bits of information, but mainly what you can see. And we can see that there's far too many FEMA coffins, which is more of a nickname, but to preppers and conspiracy people like me, which means the real words for me is people that are privy through God to know what's going on. There's no theory anymore. I'm a conspiracist, okay? I believe in conspiracy. I don't have theories. Not when you have, a couple 100,000 FEMA coffins that they never mentioned, and they're still in storage. They removed them to another location. When you see here, the Freemasonry hauling them, well, what does that show you? Well, it improves the chance that Freemasonry is involved with burying 3/4 of us in America. Well, if 237 million, more now because of all the Mexicans and people that have come in, are going to die, don't you think we should hear about it? But you have to look at the evidence. Hey, we got to be our own Sherlock Holmes here. Elementary, my dear Watson. Well, a lot of this is elementary if you pay attention. But you're not paying attention out there, are you? You're watching the Super Bowl, which I did and enjoyed. But back in 2015, at halftime of that Super Bowl, you had Katy Perry being dressed up like the whore of Babylon, drinking the blood out of a goblet, the blood of the murdered saints, on top of the beast. You go back and you look at halftime of Katy Perry performance in the 2015, I don't know the number of the 2015 Super Bowl halftime. I don't know which Super Bowl that was offhand. But you can find it by just picking the year and putting in Katy Perry's name in halftime. But I mean, you missed it. On our television, we got the whore of Babylon on the beast from Revelation at halftime. And people are applauding, and they're drilling from the mouth because they're just that stupid. They're mouth breathers, and they're too busy to know that this is their death coming. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse is of no more higher value than this whore of Babylon on top of the beast, riding the beast. It's a major theological issue. It's symbolic, but anyway. So again, this ties into the complication of the mystery of iniquity. These are things from all over. I wanted to say something else too. This is really creepy with the Pope standing in front of an old. By the way, I have the video of this. I mean, this is like 10 years ago. And I managed to look it up because I saw the photo, which is frightening. And then you notice the 666 from our Pope. And these are not crosses as in crucifixes, or rather, these are X's, the kind of X's that the Nazis wore. Very similar to the Iron Cross. You have got I can't make it. I don't have everything, and I'm not going to waste time showing you pictures and illustrations. But anyway, this is part of the mystery. Why is the Pope doing this? Why is the Pope chose to stand in front of a horrific-looking monster demon? This stuff around the face of that carving in that ancient Italian cemetery. Why cemetery, by the way? Well, the Pope is a demon, more than likely. And that's old home for him. The Doman, why do you think evil spirits, ghosts, which are not, they're simply evil spirits. They're not dead relatives and stuff. Okay. They may be. But if they are, they're as evil as they can be. Because, that's another teaching point. But anyway, why would the Pope pick a cemetery and then pick to place his podium in place in front of such a specter of horror, of death? I mean, they could have sandblasted and cleaned that up. But look, he's got a dead eye, a kind of a dead mouth, and he's got this around him. That's just age on stone. But look how it turned out, and look why he's in front of it. Why don't you ask yourself, you seen it? Now, there's a question. Answer. And let me tell you what, when you answer it, you're going to come up with, there's something wrong here. And it's, to me, my answer is that Pope Francis is supposedly the last pope, okay, ever. According to a Roman Catholic saint called Saint Malachi, that goes back to like 1120 AD, okay? And he talked about this and that, but he did say there will be a last pope. His name will be called Peter the Roman, or Peter Romanus in Latin. Well, Pope Francis isn't a Peter, but, you know, this could be an allegory. But Pope Francis numerically is the 112th since Malachi told us to start. From what I can understand, see, a lot of things aren't really that clear. You really have to spend your life and energy looking and searching it out, what they mean exactly. But I think it comes from the time Malachi started talking, from whoever was the number of the Pope, who was Pope at his time, and Malachi's time of what, 1120 maybe. Look him up. Until the end Pope, and that managed that there are 112 more popes to follow Malachi, who wasn't a pope but was the prophet in his time. And that would be the last pope, which would mean that's the end of the world, actually, to a Catholic. The end of the church. And they're not talking rapture. The Catholic Church does not teach the rapture. It doesn't teach revelation. Now, you guys say, oh, no. Some of you Catholics go, no. Our Bibles, we talk about it all the time in our Bible studies. Sometimes we get a priest or a nun to sit in with us. Well, officially, you're not going to find revelation in any catechism. And you're not going to find it taught as a sermon from Mass, any Mass you go to. Now, the Roman Church has gotten a lot more Protestant-like in its view of Scripture. But with the Roman Church has always been oral tradition over written word. And they don't want you in the Bible, which is the written word, aka written word, the Bible, because then you'll learn of all the junk you're doing and sins you're committing as a Catholic that are commandments. 22 minutes. Well, I'm still on the Mystery of Iniquity, and I brought up the Pope. Let's stay to two things then for the rest of this number 4 Mystery of Iniquity video. I'll stay with the Pope. What's he doing there and doing this? And I'll try to circle back to the FEMA coffins. Why the hell didn't they tell us about it? They know something's coming. This Deagle thing is telling us this Deagle thing that you need to look up, Deagel, okay, showing that over 250 million of us are going to be dead this year. See, our present population in America, because of these people we let in illegally, there's been tens of millions that have come in, much more than you'll ever know and I'll ever know, but you can guarantee it's 100 times more than they're telling us. So right now, America's got over easily, I would say, at least 400 million people in it because of the recent, inundation of all these people, illegals. So that means if we're going to go down to 100 million, we're going to lose 300 million. That's a lot of people, and that's a lot of Americans, and that's a lot of your relatives, and a lot of you personally, and your dogs, and your pets, and your cats, and your babies. And Deagle is a secular think tank organization. It's not religious. This has nothing to do with Christianity. That's a warning. Deagle's a warning. Now we're in that year of 2025. And I'm coming up and I'm telling you, I'm showing you things like that. And I'm also telling you that according to something new called Apophis being brought into the picture, added to the equation, that it's hitting Earth is going to happen in the fact that also turns out to be the 2,000-year established wormwood of the New Testament book of Revelation. So we're building on from this and that on the fact that this is it this year, pal. Okay, most of us are not getting out of this year. Now, just by going by Deagle, I mean, they're sort of like CIA for the government, like a branch of the CIA. That's a warning. Remember, these evil people, these Luciferians, they believe in karma. Now, Satan doesn't believe in karma, but he lets his stupid, not useless eaters, because they are busy, he lets his stupid people believe that karma, by giving us a little bit of a hint and giving us sort of a chance to flee, change our locations, do something to survive what's coming, that they're off the hook at least a little bit. Okay, and that good things will come their way because then that gives them good karma. Satan could care less. Satan wants us all dead. He hates humanity, and that's just all there is to it. He wants us all dead. And if you can't kill us, he'll change us. He'll change our DNA, and we will be human hybrids, which we got them everywhere. Again, with you watch YouTube, BitChute and things, you see these, especially announcers, because there's always a close-up. They're called, used to be called talking heads. Remember that? Well, it's because you're up like that as an announcer. You're all head. And if your eyes switch out into serpent eyes for a split second, it's going to show. And thank God, there are people out there that have called of God, I'm sure, to work hard at watching and catching these things and then passing it on to us. See, you're out of the loop. I've been in the loop for 15 years now, and I've been learning every day. There are things I don't know, but we don't need to know the mechanics of everything that's evil and happening. We just need to know what direction, what's the outcome they're hoping for. Okay, and because there's so much, you can't break everything down to the nth degree. You just can't. You don't have the time and the energy, and few of us are like have idyllic memories. I forget half my stuff. I know what I know because I've lived day and night with it. And again, repetition is probably a cornerstone of learning for most of us. So you will hear me repeat because you won't remember as much as you think you will. I have to take a drink. Time's running out. So in summary for this fourth installment of the Mystery of Iniquity, we can see that, at least through implication, through visual pictures, that the Pope is fishy. And there's something out there, I told you, the prophecy of St. Malachi, saying that from his present life back in the 1100s, from that Pope living then to the very end and last Pope ever, will be 112 popes, and that is Pope Francis. Now, Malachi gave this last Pope a name, and that was Peter Romanus, which is Peter the Roman. Well, I don't know. It could mean, this occurred to me today. Pope Francis's original name is not Francis, I'm sorry, or is it Peter? I looked it up the other day and I looked into his background a bit. I believe he was born in 38. He was 88 now, I think. But anyway, running out of time. I hate when this happens. I can't pause it. I'll screw my whole thing up. I'll unsynchronize my movement, my mouth, the words of my lips with the words that you'll hear. I'll lose the synchronization. I won't do that. I'm trying to make things this easy and have fun to learn. And I'm waiting for God to bless whatever he does. He maybe wait for me to die or go to be in the rapture and somehow be with him. And then if this is still on the air, he'll bless the work. Not me. I'm not getting paid for this, and I don't care what you think of me, or I wouldn't be talking like I am, or making enemies of stupid, bigoted Roman Catholics who's just the regular, like, normal people. But I got to be getting, the way I talk about the Catholic Church, I got to be picking up some enemies here. People that would, just think I'm totally wrong, and shame on me for saying things that I do say out loud. Well, it's time. We're out of time. I'm giving it to you straight because I care about you. God says, Scripture says, deceitful are the kisses of an enemy, but faithful are the wounds of a friend. Well, I'm wounding you, Catholics, okay, with my words, but I'm a friend. It's for your own good. Pussyfoot around. We pussyfoot around where the Jews are in this world. And boy, they've got some press. They got some PR. The Jews do, the Jewish, they can do no wrong. And I'm not going to get into them because they're one of the big taboos. You mess around and expose them a little bit too much, and I can, but I won't, because I'd like to stay alive, and I'd like to stay here. But they figure in to all this, but we don't need to know. It's not a need to know basis. I can go around that issue, and I am, and I'm trying my best to never go back to it. Okay, back, looking at the Pope, looking at the FEMA coffins, looking at the picture where the truck has a rather large, actually, Freemasonry symbol on its window that is hauling FEMA coffins. Says a lot. You've seen it here. I've explained it to you. I'm 32 minutes, and I don't want to be much longer. And so I'll end it here. This is now 1:35 p.m. Again, the 21st of February, 2025, and I'm going to let you all go. But I think there's going to be more following today, probably very soon. I'm being energized. I mean, I'm guessing, but maybe it's the Holy Spirit. Maybe this does need to get seen, get out. I've been at this since 6 in the morning. I'm talking steadily, mostly. And believe me, I'd rather fight than switch. It's a commercial about a cigarette. I'd rather fight than switch from my cigarette. And the advertisement had a woman or a man with a black eye. Okay. I'll probably be back at least 1 or 2 more times today. Finally, reminding you, this is the end of number 4 of the issue of the Mystery of Iniquity.